This is Fleet and Footy on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, sponsored by a live credit union.
Well, they welcomed us back. It's always that weird moment after the first show. Will there be a second show?
There is.
Yes, there is. We are back here on Fleet and Footy. I'm Stuart Weber along with Llerandi here to bring you all things Fleet, the Jacksonville Armada, and Footy from the world of soccer. For the next hour, we'll be discussing what the academy teams were up to this past weekend, some big rivalry matchups that they had out there at Patton Park. We'll talk about, really, college soccer is in such a cool time of the year. We just had conference championships, conference tournaments. Now we jump into the big dance, the NCAA Tournament, and we have a 10-minute conversation with the Flagler head coach as they won the Peach Belt Conference Championship. So we'll catch up with Coach Thomas Coombs a little bit later on in the show, and we'll talk some UNF as well. That men's team making it to the big dance. They've got a big matchup, actually just a few short hours from our recording time here this afternoon. And so we'll talk a little UNF as they get ready for a chance to go do what the UNF basketball team has done the last couple of weeks, and that's to go take down one of the big boys. So we'll talk about that. We've got U.S. men's national team. They played twice since we last spoke here on Fleet and Footy, both against Jamaica, both victories. So we'll discuss what that looked like. And our international story, our fun kind of story from the world of soccer, takes us to a small country in Europe that many may not know about that has not fared so well over the years when it comes to the international game. But we'll get to that all coming up here on Fleet and Footy over the next hour. Lewis, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Stuart. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah.
Another day to talk about soccer, another day to talk about the Fleet. A busy weekend for the academy, like you mentioned. Played two really high-quality opponents. I mean, we're talking about Inter Miami and Orlando City. These are the best academies in all of Florida. The boys really got put to the test this weekend, and I was really proud of the showing.
Yeah, we touched a little bit on what this weekend would be like for our boys in blue, for the younger lads, as we say. As we mentioned, the Armada in the MLS Next program have under 16, under 17, and under 19 teams. And these teams are playing some of the best squads from around the entire state when it comes to that MLS Next program. And it's not just local club teams and things like that, but these are the MLS teams sending their academies, sending their future players, these players that they've interacted with and certainly been investing in for years now. You were there.
I was.
So give me some thoughts on what you were able to see. What did it look like? What was the atmosphere like? And, we can get into the results. The results went the other way for all three of our local squads. But look, this is a development league. This is all about what you're learning, what you're gaining, and what you're doing to get better. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts from this weekend.
Yeah, Saturday, the U17s played Inter Miami. It was a really, really tight game. It was really interesting.
A lot of pink out there.
I was about to say, it was really interesting to see how many people show up. You put that Inter Miami logo out there, and they want to see it.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see the growth of MLS within the country, and you see it just by this one club showing up, and the boys really wanted to step up. I think everyone wants to step up when they play against a tough opponent, and as you see here, some tough tackles, and both these games...
This game looks like a gender reveal is happening, by the way. We got baby blue versus the light pink.
Shout out Garrett Adams right there with a PK save.
Okay.
At that point, it was still 0-0. It was massive in the moment. And the goalkeepers really put up to the test this weekend. Andy Dunn of the U19s had a couple fantastic saves, had a triple save over the weekend. Might win save of the month.
Who determines save of the month, by the way?
The coaching staff of the academy.
Okay.
So
it's not just like you coming up with it randomly on your own.
It is definitely not. I cannot scour that much footage. The coaches have better memory of their players than I do. I sit on the sideline and take pictures and try to hone in on as much as possible, but it's been really...
Don't shortchange yourself. You're doing important stuff out there,
It's been really cool to see how these boys really stepped up to the occasion. I mean, none of them really backed down. You could tell that they really wanted this one. Unfortunately, the U17s took a loss, as well as the U19s and the U16s, who ended up playing Orlando City on Sunday, another perennial opponent. Actually, the U19s team for the Armada has two former Orlando City Academy players on the team, Ethan Berger and Drake Wenger, who really wanted to step up this weekend. You could tell they were running around, they were putting in a tough tackle, and it was really cool to see, especially the 19s, which, these are the guys that we could potentially see in the summer with the U23s. So I enjoy watching these guys grow up, and I'm excited to see which one of these young men can step up into the squad in the summer.
As we check out some of the video from the second go-round, Orlando City coming to town, purple instead of the pink. I love the vibrant colors, though. By the way, nothing drives me more nuts than a white versus a black kind of matchup, where the kits just have no color, no originality, nothing to them. Which, by the way, shout out to the bright red and yellow. We'll get into the kits we're wearing here in a little bit on the show. But Orlando City, how much do you see that kind of that crossing borderlines type stuff, where a player maybe will play for one youth team and then go switch over to an arch rival down the road, so to speak?
I think you see it a lot in Florida specifically, just
Sure.
because we're so close geographically and you're able to get around the state pretty easily. These guys want playing time. So maybe if they're not getting playing time at one club, or maybe they're not liking the coach at one club, then they're able to have this option, which I think is really cool. You were not able to have this option, 10 years ago in the United States, to be able to play at such a high-level academy and have the option to bounce around. But there's plenty of states in the United States who don't have as many MLS Next teams in their state, especially high-level ones, like we'd like to consider ourselves at the Jacksonville Armada.
Yeah, absolutely. Crowd, good?
It was really good, actually. Section 904
Tell me about it.
Showed out. We ended up filming a commercial with them right after at Ruby Beach. We'll shout out Ruby Beach a little bit later on in the show as well.
Okay.
But Section 904 came out strong, came out loud. Whenever they see purple, they go red. So it's really fun to watch them. A new rivalry started with Inter Miami and a rivalry renewed with Orlando City. So it was really cool to see both compare and contrast the teams, their style of play. And yes, the Section 904 got really into it. They see the purple and they can't get enough of it.
You just mentioned style of play. That's an interesting thing, because these different levels, U19, U17, U16 for the Armada, they're all kind of employing similar schemes, similar attacking style, which matches and gets them ready for playing, say, at a senior team down the road.
Well, it's not just us. You can see it in these other clubs. I mean, when I was watching the U16's Orlando City team, they played just like the U19 Orlando City team. There's tactics in play, and these managers know that these kids, once they are ready to go to that MLS Next Pro level, or maybe even skip that MLS Next Pro level and go straight to the A team, like in Orlando City has the B team, you can go straight up to that MLS level, and they're ready to fit straight into the coach's system because they know what's going on and how to work and what the standards are.
All right, so Boys in Blue on the road for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I just looked at the schedule, and now they got to hit the road for a little bit.
Yep, this weekend we'll be traveling down to South Florida, maybe as south as you can get in South Florida, Weston. Then we end up,
I mean, I would say like Key West. I don't know. Is there a Key West United?
There is not.
No,
There's not.
we don't have the Conch Republic United.
Hialeah? Is Hialeah even further south than that?
It might be, yeah.
Okay,
They're both down there.
Hialeah-
Hialeah is pretty far down in Miami.
So they play South Florida Academy on Sunday and Weston on Saturday. So Weston is probably one of the better teams that we will play throughout the season. The 19s, that was the only game that they've dropped points to besides this Orlando City game. But it's going to be really interesting because right now the U19s are first in the Florida Power Rankings in MLS Next. They need 3 more points to qualify for an end-of-season tournament out in the Northeast. I want to say it's Maryland, an MLS Next tournament. And so these 3 points will really be crucial going in and ending the fall season.
Are these 3 points they got to get right now in one game, or how many games they have to get?
They got a couple, but
okay. But you'd rather do it in one.
I know Coach Bolowich is going to want this wrapped up before Christmas time.
Without a doubt.
And then the final game of the year, regular season-wise, is December 15th away in Tampa. But in between that time, the U19 squad and the U17 squad will go all the way out to California to play in a MLS Next tournament.
Okay. Do you get to go to that one?
We'll have.
Or you got to watch it?
I will be in California, so we might have to do a little remote episode out in Cali, Indio, California.
When is that? That's a few weeks from now?
That is, I want to say it starts December 5th, and it goes all the way through December 10th. So it goes through that
Good to learn this here on the show.
That
on
MLS
Fleet and
Cup
Footy, that my
final.
co-host is going to be missing potentially a show. We'll get you dialed in. We've got the technology.
We'll get that MLS Cup final preview in while I'm in California. Maybe one of the LA teams will be playing. So maybe
you go do some interviews out
I'll
there.
be on site.
We'll send you out there with a credential.
Who knows?
I was going to say we've done this show with Austin Lane in Las Vegas and Brent in London, and we've managed to make it work. So I'm sure we can dial you up from the West Coast. All right, so that's a little bit of talk on the Armada Academies. I want to get back into Section 904. Good segue. Shout out Daniel Johnson watching on Facebook saying good afternoon, one of our ardent supporters in Section 904. You mentioned the commercial shoot, and I think it's really cool that this upcoming commercial shoot is going to feature really Section 904, the heartbeat of this club and the group that has been behind the boys in blue for a full decade now. And then this past year, they got behind the girls in blue as we added in the Armada women's under 23 side as well. So what was that commercial shoot like this weekend? I think I saw a picture where you snuck into some of it, right? You had some Armada gear on there. I saw like a group picture, and then I saw like Lewis poking his like head in on the side.
You may catch me in a scene.
Oh,
in a slight scene.
Did you have any lines? Any speaking lines?
No speaking lines. I was speaking.
Did anyone have any speaking lines?
No.
Okay. I'm just making sure you're not getting shortchanged.
No,
here.
of course not. I still
get
got my
you in there.
spotlight. Still got my spotlight.
I'm sure you did.
It was awesome. We filmed the second day of it. Actually, we filmed one day of this shoot prior. It was even longer, if you can believe that. We shot for probably 4 hours this past weekend. The first shoot was probably 6 hours, so filled them up with beer, filled them up with food, and Section 904 was ready to sing and drum and pop the smoke as much as they wanted to. And it's really fun having it at Ruby Beach, to be able to have that connection with the beer, Ancla Dorada. And it's really cool to be able to feature the fans because they are the heartbeat of this club. There's a reason why we're still around today, and it's because of the fans. They're loyal, especially Section 904. And they show out for us every single weekend, no matter if it's the academy, no matter if we're playing in Mississippi.
They get there.
And so it's been awesome to partner with Ruby Beach with over multiple different events. And now we get to partner with them again and announce that we're having a holiday party at Ruby Beach December 20th from 7 to 9. I can or cannot confirm there may be a special guest showing up to that event. We'll have more details.
This is news to me. I don't know. I don't know any of these.
We'll have
these
more
special
details about how you can RSVP to the event. But
am I invited?
Of course you are.
Okay, good.
December 20th.
Gonna have to.
Ruby Beach, right downtown Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'll be getting in town around that time. Yeah, I'll roll right in there.
Perfect. We always have a good time. We held one of these last year. There's actually some Christmas merchandise on the website right now if you do want to go stock up on that. Some stocking stuffers.
Okay.
There's an ornament on there and a few jumpers and T-shirts if you're interested, adults and kids sizes. This is a party.
Did you just say jumpers?
I did say jump. I've been hanging around Nathan Walter too long.
I was going to say, I've been watching Ted Lasso again lately. Maybe that's where that would come from.
I'm really excited. We did one last year and went off without a hitch, and I'm excited to see what this year entails.
All right, that's exciting news. So there you have it. The Jacksonville Armada FC holiday party coming on December 20th, 7 o'clock, and that's at Ruby Beach Brewing. And go have yourself an Ancla Dorada.
It's crispy, refreshing.
Yeah? I'm not going to do the accent. You say it. Go ahead.
Ancla Dorada.
Yeah, that's a little better than anything I can do. All right, we're going to take a quick time out here on Fleet and Footy. Just getting this show started, though. We're going to delve into the world of college soccer next.
North Florida's dominating.
We preview. We're actually doing really good here in Northeast Florida. We've put some things together here as of late. We'll talk a little bit about UNF, and they're going to the NCAA Tournament, and a conversation with Thomas Coombs, the head coach of the Flagler men's soccer team, and we do touch on a Jacksonville Armada under 23 standout in that interview. So that is coming up next right here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. You're watching Fleet and Footy. People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers. And that connection to the community continues with a live credit union support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. A live credit union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of a live credit union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
Imagine a brokerage platform that gives agents the flexibility to move between comp plans so that they can spend their entire career in one place while earning stock and recruiting other agents. And imagine the entire enterprise is created and backed by a proven industry innovator. Now imagine this platform already exists. Imagine you own this platform. Imagine how large you can grow, how much revenue share you can earn. Just imagine.
Get local sports on demand with Action Sports Jax 24/7. All sports, all local, all the time. From the locker room to the field, the Jags, high school football, the Jacksonville Armada, and don't forget the Brent and Austin Show. They're all in on Trevor. Of course. Download the Action News Jax Now app, available wherever you stream or at actionnewsjax.com. TV, phone, laptop, desktop. Action Sports Jax 24/7. Jacksonville sports, all the time.
Building off a summer of terrific action at Southern Oaks Stadium, the Jacksonville Armada are looking forward to the future and the return of pro soccer in Northeast Florida. Season ticket reservations for MLS Next Pro are underway, and for just $100, you can lock in some great benefits when it comes to supporting the boys in blue. Those who make a reservation will have first selection options in the new Armada Stadium out east, near Jacksonville's downtown sporting complex, as well as access to supporter VIP events like stadium tours, open training sessions, and future meet and greets with players and coaches. You can make your season ticket reservations at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket. And while you're there, read the very latest on the Armada men's and women's teams in action this summer. Show your commitment to the fleet with an MLS Next Pro season ticket reservation at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket.
This is Fleet and Footy on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network, sponsored by a live credit union.
Oh, you're taking a look over beautiful downtown Jacksonville, the bold new city of the South.
Gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. It's a little chilly.
It is.
It was like a sweater day.
This morning it was like in the 50s.
I didn't wake up this morning early. I don't do the early thing here, man.
This is Fleet and Footy on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network, sponsored by a live credit union.
So nice you got to play it twice.
That's it. I love it. So yeah, nice chilly day. Let's talk about these kits we're wearing. Yours is a more recent throwback.
I called it a throwback today, but yes, it is a little bit more of a recent throwback. The Jacksonville Armada U23 men's team won the Gulf Coast Conference Shield in 2022. This was the jersey that was worn. There's also the jersey that I got.
You get your own solo shot just to show off the jersey. Bring that down a little.
This is the jersey that I got to release myself. Actually, I got to release this myself when I first hopped on with the Armada through the esports. So yeah, it's a little bit of a throwback, not as quite as throwbacky as yours.
I was gonna say, I know your profile picture takes you way back. As one point it was, but yeah,
you've been hitting the gym though. I think that's
that's it. It was definitely the gym. This goes back to wrong side. There we go. This goes back to the NASL days. Really, it goes back to the original NASL days, Jacksonville T-Men. And then we got to have a nice one-off where they wore this in the baseball grounds. I believe a lot of the pictures we used of Tommy Krzanovich was wearing this because I think he was in
he dropped the kit.
He was in the kit drop. Yeah, the unveiling of the kit.
And shout out to Tommy Krzanovich. Happy birthday. It was his birthday yesterday. Okay. I will not reveal his age. You can look that one up on Wikipedia.
We all want a team of Tommy K's. So shout out to Coach there. Certainly, this one's not his though. This is Matt Boehner. Shout out to Matt Boehner.
We'll have to get Tommy in here with his pink kit on. I know he's still got that one.
We will absolutely get him in here down the road for sure. Hey, we got some more interaction there on the chat. Shout out to Metten. He's watching live in Germany right now. Yeah.
I have no German to say. I don't
either. Dankeschön, I think is thank you.
Eins, zwei, drei.
Okay, yeah. Well, shout out to Metten for watching, and Derek as well. I'm not a special guest here. I'm the host. A little different, certainly. And
Wow.
And for
you
William,
got special guest. So am I the host?
No, we're both the co-hosts here on this illustrious program, Fleet and Footy. And William, that is coming. That is coming. Certainly.
So soon. Very soon.
The best way I can tell you is you will hear it right here on Fleet and Footy when we have the exacts for you. And you said there was some positive stuff today. So we wish we could tell you every little detail that is going on with the stadium project and everything that comes along with it. But I'll just say this: when we know, you will know.
You'll know immediately.
We're gonna bring it to you right here on Fleet and Footy. So certainly stay tuned each week, every Thursday at 2:00. Programming note: we will have the show next week Thursday at 2. It re-airs all throughout the weekend, and of course, it'll be on the Action Sports Jacks YouTube page. So while you may be spending time with family Thursday at 2, we will have the show up and ready to go, ready to view. For the folks right here on the 24/7 network.
Eat your turkey, watch your Fleet and Footy.
Just saying.
Sounds like a great afternoon to me.
Not a bad idea at all. All right, let's talk a little college soccer now. Let's get back on track here, and we'll start things off with UNF. The Ospreys, we mentioned coming into last week, they had a big matchup against Central Arkansas, and that one tied it up late in the first half.
An absolute zapatazo right there.
Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. And UNF, really, Central Arkansas beat them bad in the end of the regular season matchup. However, they get their revenge in the ASUN Conference Championship game. That's the penalty kick to win it. That referee might want to get out of there. I don't know why he had to go look at his watch and write down the time or something. But yeah, you see the fans very excited, the student body. First ASUN championship for UNF in a long time as they get the win over Central Arkansas in penalty kicks. And as a result, they earn a spot in the NCAA tournament. Let's start by talking about UNF and just how huge this is for the Ospreys to get this moment, right?
I gotta always tie everything back into their Armada. Shades of 2023 U.S. Open Cup with the field storm.
Same field.
Love to see it from the UNF students there. UNF has been on an absolute tear this year. The Ospreys have been dominant at home, and under a brand new head coach, it's been really impressive to see these young men really take his ideas and put them forth. I mean, first season. I mean, you saw it from day one. UNF was able to kind of run this ASUN a little bit more than you thought they were.
That coach you're talking about, by the way, Jamie Davies, we'll hear some reaction from him in just a second about his team. But only the third coach in school history in a 30-year plus run of the program, which is just remarkable. That's like Pittsburgh Steelers level longevity in the NFL, where they've only had so many coaches forever. But Jamie Davies, just a tremendous job of hitting the ground running. And in this world of college athletics, where transferring is so prevalent, and really you're just trying to get whatever talent you can from every spot that you can, that includes in the world of college soccer.
Well, it's really awesome to see. College soccer is interesting in the fact that in college football, you don't see these guys coming over from Europe to play soccer. Some of these gentlemen are coming from England in these academies and directly playing college soccer. They had an opportunity to go through the system, maybe in England or Ireland or Austria or wherever they're from, and they decide they want an education and to play soccer over here. And it really does raise the level of soccer across all divisions, really. I mean, we have D2 Flagler players on our team, and they start day in, day out. They captain the team, and it's been really awesome to see these guys from collected all over the world come together in North Florida specifically, and you get to see it right there. I mean, the fans, the students getting into soccer, it's really cool to see Florida and North Florida and these colleges really accept the sport.
Yeah, and you said it. I mean, you have these opportunities to go through the system in your home country. It is so different from the world of college athletics in the United States. So much so that when we've had discussions with folks in like London per se, when we go over for the Jaguars stuff, we try to explain a little bit about what college football is, right? And they're like, wait, so you have 100,000 people at a college football game and the atmosphere is almost as good as it is in the NFL professional games? It doesn't click. It doesn't register, right? But it's like that with college soccer as well. It's completely different from these youth academies. And now you're seeing the United States trying to build up that youth academy side of things as well. And it does make you wonder, okay, well, what's the future going to look like in college soccer when all these clubs that are now established in the United States are trying to build up from the we got it like a U4 team all the way up to U19. It feels like it, right?
I mean, you can play at that level at these clubs. It's definitely going to be interesting to see the shift on how that does take place. I still think you'll see a lot of these players opt to go to college because they want that education, they want that degree, and to be safe and sound after their playing career. Or maybe they don't think that they want to play professionally after, a short career. So
what's the youngest we have for Jacksonville FC?
I think JFC goes all the way. I mean, there's programs down to I think 3 or 4 years old. Yeah.
But like the U ones, like
in MLS Next, I know it goes down to U13, but it goes down even further from there. Yeah, that's really where you can say you're in a professional academy now in the United States.
I'm just making sure that it's not like you got the U6s where the whole team is just chasing one ball and running around. But we do have good programs with like MLS Go and things of that sort, which are installing the game at these younger levels for kids to learn it, to love it, to get to be a part of it. All right, let's hear from Coach Jamie Davies now. This was an interview from Friday, so before the ASUN championship game, but the comments from Coach Davies certainly ring true as his team gets ready for an NCAA opener here later this afternoon.
And we've definitely had that, but I think this group's been through so much adversity that when it started to click and we got confidence and the coaches just showed a little bit of belief in them, they got better and better, and then they were like, oh, we can do this. And then it becomes real. So, it could have gone the other way easily, but it went this way, and we're happy to be here, and we're going to give it everything.
All right, so they did give it everything against Central Arkansas. They go and get the win in penalty kicks. They advance and earn a spot in the NCAA tournament, where they take on West Virginia.
The mighty, mighty Mountaineers.
Country Roads Take Me Home. Which, by the way, big song overseas. They love that song at the NFL games. They love singing Country Roads Take Me Home. And at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, or was it Wembley? One of the two. They really got into it. They really enjoyed singing that song. But the next matchup is against West Virginia. To start things off, West Virginia won the Sun Belt Conference Championship, and then really had a terrific season. So a big-time matchup. But look, you get in the dance, you got a chance. And that is certainly the case for UNF here tonight, as they'll be going against these big-time teams from around the country, starting with West Virginia. And if you beat West Virginia, then you stay on the road and you head up to regular Virginia to try to take on the Cavaliers. So a big good luck, a big congratulations, first of all, on winning the ASUN to UNF's men's team, and good luck. Hope they get the job done. We'll certainly be watching here. That's a 5 o'clock kickoff on Thursday afternoon if you're watching live with us. If you're watching a replay of the show and it's after 5 o'clock, it's probably over. That's how this works. Go back and check what the score was, and hopefully the Ospreys are still dancing.
My prediction for the match, 1-1. Ospreys win it in extra time, golden goal, 2-1.
Okay. You heard it here. The prediction man.
Just so you guys can watch the game later, a little later today.
You don't have to watch the game. You just said what's going to happen. So, no problem there. All right, let's transition now. We've talked, obviously, Division I with UNF. Let's talk a little Division II and the Flagler Saints. Flagler College out there in St. Augustine, Florida, plays the NCAA Division II level. They, too, had a conference championship over the weekend. And the Flagler men, we'll get into the Flagler women, by the way, as well in just a moment, give them a shout-out because they're still playing as well. The Flagler men go and win the Peach Belt Conference Championship, and they get it done against Clayton State, a team that they had split with in the regular season. Here's the banner raising, the trophy, and the excitement. Everyone gets a free T-shirt. Who doesn't love a free T-shirt? Of course, that's a T-shirt they'll keep for a while since it says champions on it. A big shout-out here to the Flagler Saints, who get the job done, and they beat Clayton State with a late goal.
You can see a couple Armada boys in that image. Toby McCallum, NPSL 2023 Goal of the Year winner.
It was a good one.
called by yours truly.
You did. You did. That was a road game, right?
It was a road
That's
game.
why he hit that rocket from 40 yards out or whatever it was.
And then El Capi Miles Shanley, who I know captains the back line there for the Saints and captains the back line for the Armada plenty of times over his career with the Boys in Blue. So it's really cool to see those guys win some silverware in the later stages of their college career.
All right, so Flagler College, they now head on the road. They will play on Friday against the University of West Florida. That game being played at Lynn University down in Boca. The winner then goes on to play Lynn. So that's why they're playing both on a neutral site. West Florida, of course, from out in Pensacola. The Argonauts, the mighty Argos.
Keegan Anselin,
Keegan
who
Anselin
is
on the
a
squad
Jacksonville
out there.
Armada player as well, will be out there.
Indeed he is. All right, so let's get into it with the head coach, Thomas Coombs, who I had a chance to catch up with earlier today to discuss this matchup and discuss one Miles Shanley. Nice segue there to get into it. Let's hear this conversation I had with Thomas Coombs today. We are catching up with Thomas Coombs, head coach of the Flagler Saints men's soccer team, as they get set for an NCAA tournament game. And Coach, before we get to the NCAA tournament game, let's talk about the conference championship. You guys go out there, you win the Peach Belt, you score a late goal to do it, and get that victory against Clayton State. What was that whole experience like for your guys?
Yeah, it was amazing. We've worked very, very hard all year. Clayton are a top team, obviously in the nationals alongside us. And then it was difficult. It was a very, very tough game, but the boys showed belief throughout, and that's what's been fantastic about our group all year is we just have that never say die attitude. And then last 10 minutes to kind of get on the scoreboard and tie the game up, and then it's just all about momentum and riding that wave, and we managed to get over the line in the end, and it was just a feeling of relief. It was just a relief. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of years have gone into that moment as well, not just this season. So to finally get one over the line and lift the trophy was amazing.
And it feels like you've kind of been building towards this moment here. This is your third year now with Flagler as the head coach. Obviously, you were assistant there before that, but you had a tournament final appearance, a tournament semifinal appearance, and now you get the one to top both of those with the tournament championship.
Yeah, exactly. Like we just said, it was years in the making, not just this season. Obviously, the seniors and the juniors had that experience of the final a few years back, which is massive. It's very, very difficult to go into finals when you don't have a lot of experience. But we added in a lot of new boys this year who had experience at other schools, a lot of Division I transfers who had played in big games. So as much as it was a big game, it felt normal. It felt like we had kind of control over it emotionally, which I think was a big factor. So it was like I say, it was an incredible day, and hopefully we've got many more to come.
College soccer in the United States is a pretty unique thing. I mean, just worldwide, the way the game is kind of formed in all the leagues, college soccer is just its own sort of entity, right? How do you explain what you guys are doing here in the U.S. and as a Division II team to recruits from around the country? Because you guys are recruiting not just locally, but globally, really, on this team.
Yeah, we've got a very, very diverse roster. We've got players from Japan, from Denmark, Sweden, from England, from obviously locally in St. Augustine as well. We recruit literally all over the world. And it is very, very different. Some players come from high levels, and obviously that European model is, they limit the substitutions, and once you're out of the game, you're completely out of the game. So especially explaining that to our freshmen is quite fun sometimes, because they don't have any concept until they get over here and are on the field. And then when they get subbed out, sometimes in the first half or early in the second half, they get a bit frustrated with us, and we're like, no, you can go back in, and that's the beauty of the college model and it's why it makes it so difficult to actually win games, because everyone's fresh. You can, if you start to get a bit tired or someone starts to get a little bit fatigued, you bring them out, give them a sip of water, put them back in, and then they're ready to go again. And it just means the intensity is super, super high. But that's what makes college soccer exciting. Sometimes in the European models, it's a lot of possession based stuff, and it takes a little while for the game to get going, and because no one wants to get too tired or no one wants to exert themselves. In college soccer, sometimes it's very, very transitional. It's you attack, we attack, you attack, and then it's whoever takes their moments when it matters.
You think that makes your job easier or harder?
It has its pros and cons for sure. Easier in the sense of, obviously one thing we've been very good at this year is we've been rotating a lot of bodies. We have a lot of good players, so it makes it easier to kind of keep people happy. in terms of, making sure that a lot of people get game time. Sometimes, obviously, if we can only rotate in, 13, 14 bodies, sometimes I get a lot of upset people when I've got 30 players on my roster. That's the worst part of the job, but that makes it a little bit easier sometimes. The more difficult side of it is, again, sometimes you lose a little bit of the flow of the game. You kind of, when people just start to find their feet and just start to kind of get used to what the intensity is like, they get tired, and then you got to bring them out. Or we want to do something tactically, or the other team changes 4 or 5 players, and now the intensity rises again. So, like I said, it has its pros and cons.
Before we get into the NCAA tournament game and the matchup against West Florida, I do want to ask you about one player, a guy that we've seen quite a bit with the Jacksonville Armada under 23 side, and Miles Shanley, and just what he has meant to your team. He's a local guy, and I know in our team with the Armada over the summer, he really took up a big leadership role on that group. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Miles Shanley and his development.
Yeah, Miles is brilliant. Obviously, he's been with the program at Flagler since he was a freshman, so he's been a 4-year starter for us. He's been fantastic. We actually added him to the leadership group this year. In my opinion, probably a little bit too late, but he needed that development. He didn't want that kind of pressure. He just enjoys his football, and he's very I mean this in a positive way. He's focused on himself in terms of, like, he wants to get the best out of himself. So he felt like being a leader sometimes wasn't always in his wheelhouse, and he's developed that skill, and now he brings others along with him. He's hands down the most competitive individual I've met. Anything, even in practice, he gives 100%. He argues every call. He complains a lot, but, like, again, he wants to win. And I would much rather have players on the team that want to win, and we've got to kind of reel in sometimes, than players that don't care or aren't passionate. And again, he's a local kid, so this means a lot to him. He's worked 4 years to get this moment, and he's like I say, he's been fantastic to us, and I know he's been a big part of the Jacksonville community as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the word development probably 10 times in that little 1-minute answer. I mean, how big are these summer leagues like the MPSL, like the Jacksonville Armada under 23 team, when you're talking about getting these guys to that next level for when they come back to you in the fall?
Yeah, it's huge. Again, we're talking about the college model before, and we know the fall season is very, very intense. You play Saturday, Wednesday, if you're lucky, for 3 months, 3 and a bit months, and then it's 9 months of development after that. So we always say it's difficult to develop you in the fall. It's what you do in the off season, it's what you do in the spring, it's what you do in the summer that kind of makes you the player you are going to be in the fall. And we've had a few boys in the past. We've got another one on the roster, Toby McCallum, who played with the Armada in the past as well. And I know Tommy very well. I know Tommy up there, who's the head coach, and he does a fantastic job. He gets the best players around, and he manages it well, and he communicates with us in terms of managing time, so players aren't getting injured and coming back, because that's the last thing we want as well. It's an intense summer. Tommy wants to win. The Armada wants to win, and we want to support that. But at the same time, we don't want our players coming back fatigued when we've got a big season ahead of us as well. And Tommy's fantastic in that aspect. And myself and Michael, my assistant, we go up there as much as we can to support during the summer and watch the Armada play and win a lot of games.
Absolutely. All right, let's look ahead, man. We got West Florida, the Argonauts, as that opening round matchup for Flagler Saints. Flagler has not played an NCAA tournament game in a decade, so this is a long time coming. They're excited to get back in the tournament. Talk to me about West Florida and this matchup on Friday.
Yeah, it's very, very, very exciting. Like you say, it's been a long time coming. It's a first for me as a coach. I've not had that experience, so it's new. It's exciting for me. It's exciting for a lot of the players. And that's probably where West Florida have a little bit of an advantage on us. They were there last year. They've been there multiple years in the past. They're a very, very strong program. So it's for us. It's about managing the emotions a little bit. But also being confident. We deserve to be there, and I think that's the message we're sending to the boys, is that these games are going to be tough, but we deserve to be there. So someone's got to keep winning games, and why not us?
Yeah, I think it's always crucial when you get to the big tournament to draw upon the experiences from the conference tournaments, and having just come off a run to win the title, that has to be fresh in these players' minds, right?
Yeah, 100%. And we've now gone 4 games in a row winning, so it's become something that's been consistent, which has been nice. And the way our approach to the players and stuff is, we played University of North Georgia in the semi-final, and they were ranked in the top 10 in the region, and we beat them. And then we played Clayton State, who were ranked number 3 in the region. Obviously, just got ranked number 4 for the tournament, but we've essentially just beat 2 tournament teams. So nothing really needs to change. We got to keep winning, keep beating other tournament teams, and just seeing how far it goes.
Last thing for you, you guys will be successful if your team is able to blank. What does your team need to do here against the Argonauts in order to be successful on the pitch on Friday?
Yeah, I could give you the generic answer of score more goals than the other team. That's always a good
That
one.
helps.
For us, we've managed to score in every single game we played this year. So, but a big foundation of that has been on our defensive side of things. We've kept 8 clean sheets. So when we've defended well, we've always had a chance. We've always got the firepower to win a game. So the focus will be obviously, working hard, defending well, and then taking on moments when the opportunity arises.
All right, Coach Thomas Coombs with the Flagler Saints. Congratulations on the Peach Belt title. And now good luck in the NCAA tournament as you represent St. Augustine here at a national stage.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, there you have it. That is Thomas Coombs, head coach of the Saints, the Flagler Saints, getting set for their first round matchup against UWF, the mighty Argonauts. That game will be on Friday at 3 o'clock. So good chance for Flagler to go out there and look, they get a chance to shock the world, right? You look at the region they're in. There's 4 regions. Their region has 10 teams in it. They have seeded Flagler as the 10th seed. So first they got to beat the 7 seed of UWF, and then try to take down the number 2 seed in Lynn. And look, they've done a lot of good stuff by avenging a bunch of games against North Georgia. They beat them in the semifinals of the Peach Belt tournament, and then they avenge a loss to Clayton State by beating them in the championship game. So Clayton State is the 4th seed in their region, and I want to say, I'm trying to see North Georgia. North Georgia might not have made it, but I know North Georgia beat them twice in the regular season, so it was good for them to get that revenge against North Georgia within their own conference. So that's the men's team. As mentioned, they take on UWF. A quick shout out for the women's team as well. They fell in the conference championship game 1-0, giving up a penalty kick in the final minute of the game.
That's tough.
Very tough against a powerhouse in Columbus State University, but they did earn an at-large bid, did the Flagler women. So Flagler College on the women's side will be the 5 seed. They will play Friday at noon against Catawba with a chance to take on those Lady Cougs in a rematch in round 2. Jay Entlich's program up there in Columbus. I worked in Columbus before Jacksonville, so I covered a lot of CSU soccer. They were really good then. They're really good now. So certainly a matchup to keep an eye out on.
Quick shout out for Andrea Fernandez, who won her 4th Offensive Player of the Year award for the Peach Belt Conference, the only player in conference history to ever do that. She also won her 4th Golden Ball award, which I guess has been done in the Peach Belt Conference, which I think is just as impressive. You do 4 for 4. I don't think that's ever been done. So shout out to the number 10, Andrea Fernandez from Spain. She's had a great season so far, and I'm sure she'll captain her team to an eventual upset in the tournament.
Okay. There you go. Shout out to all that. All right. We wanted to hit another break here in just a second, but before we do, I do want to mention high school soccer is off and running. Their season already underway. Got some big games here coming up tonight, tomorrow night. Big ones to go and check out. I'm going to give you one game if you want to go see one game. It's on the girls' side. It's Friday night, and it's St. John's Country Day at Ponte Vedra, and that is going to be a really good game. St. Johns County soccer, from Creekside to Bartram Trail to Ponte Vedra, has some of the best high school girls teams in the state. Each and every year they go and dominate at the state level. Meanwhile, St. John's Country Day, Coach Pickett over there has his dynasty, and they win championships just about every single year. Of course, Carson Pickett, the most notable alumni who plays for the Orlando Pride now, who we'll talk about in the next segment. So that is a tease and a segue all in one. It's how we do it here on Fleet and Footy. We're coming right back. We're going to talk a little bit about professional soccer with those big matches. See, you got the Boehner autograph back there. This isn't the most flattering angle. Let me just lean it in a little bit. Some of these angles, man. I like the tight up shot because you don't have to. There you go. Get that going. Anyhow, we'll talk some NWSL, some MLS. We'll talk a little international soccer as well, and a great Cindarella story. We got that coming up next right here on Fleet and Footy.
Ancla Dorada. The official bear of your Jacksonville Armada.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7. People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
This is Fleet and Footy on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, sponsored by Alive Credit Union.
And we are back here on Fleet and Footy, and we're talking a little NWSL as the Orlando Pride are headed to the championship game. And that is my goodness,
gosh.
Marta,
The GOAT.
I mean, undoubtedly one of the top players on the planet for many years now. Obviously nearing the end of her career, but what a goal there! And obviously they hung on from there to beat KC and earn their spot in the championship game. But what an icon and what a goal here down in Orlando.
Looking good this year are the Pride. The NWSL has just been continuing to grow year on year on year, and it's really nice to see a team that's been really floundering towards the bottom as a franchise finally step into themselves. And Marta's been on that team since the beginning of that franchise. So it's really nice to see her finally be able to get to that last step to lift that piece of silverware she's been waiting for, to maybe decide that she is finally the GOAT. She's still playing like she's in her 20s, as you can see there, putting people on their butts. And Barbara Banda scored a great second goal there. She's been crucial for the Pride this year. And the Washington Spirit are no team to look past. They've got plenty of fast wingers.
Make it to the championship, no doubt.
Trinity Rodman, I'm sure, they have 4 gold medal winners on that squad as well. So it's going to be a very contentious matchup. The Pride have only lost 2 games this season, drew 1. They almost were on pace to go undefeated throughout the whole regular season. But they've had a great year so far, and it's been awesome to watch the NWSL really grow as a league. You're seeing teams like Kansas City, which actually is where this final is being played, have their own stadium, an NWSL team-specific stadium, which I can't even believe that's possible. If you would have told me that a couple years ago, I would not have believed you, even if you would have said in 5 years there's going to be one. I think you're going to continue to see that trend progress in the United States, and you're going to still see a lot of these teams have MLS ownership group as the same as the NWSL ownership group. I know for the Armada, we have a bid in for an NWSL team. I mean, there's plenty of cities out there who want an NWSL team. but the market is getting ripe for it here. You're seeing women's sports, not just soccer, but I know we love to mention women's basketball now, but women's basketball, I've been watching WNBA, I've been watching women's college basketball now more than ever. I've always been interested in women's college soccer, so it's going to be really interesting to see. We have nothing like that in Northeast Florida, no professional women's team of any sort, so I'd love to be able to see the girls in blue make that step up one day to NWSL.
I know we do have some professional women's tackle football in Jacksonville, but I'm not gonna quiz you on that. So it is really cool to see how that portion of the game has grown. And fun fact, Caitlin Clark was in Southeast Georgia yesterday, so she was in the area up at the RSM Classic for a charity putting challenge.
Shout out the new goat of women's basketball
up there in Sea Island. Just a quick mention there. And I will say Carson Pickett is the player that we have our eyes on. Of course, the defender from St. John's Country Day School. So a local, went on to FSU and has had just a tremendous career that has really spanned more than just her time on the field, but the impact that she makes off of it as well. By the way, on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, if you go to our YouTube page, go to the playlist for After the Game, you can check out the hour-long conversation with Mike Pickett, of course, the head coach at St. John's Country Day, and her dad, as you know, by them having the same last name and me mentioning it a couple times here over the last little bit. Orlando Pride, they're going to win? What do you think?
From watching that last game, I saw the Washington Spirit really.
You want to be the prediction guy, so I'm going.
I will be the prediction guy. Washington Spirit win. The Washington Spirit ended up scoring late in their semifinal game. Really played a tough New York Gotham team, which I think is a better team than the KC team that Orlando City beat. Orlando looked a little hectic towards the end of that match, and Washington looked really calm, cool, and collected. Their goalkeeper ends up saving 3 out of 3 from the PK spot.
That's good, right? That feels good to me.
Yes, very good. But Orlando, in Orlando's defense, have only conceded not that many goals, and their goalkeeper is goalkeeper of the season. So,
sounds like we got a battle. I wonder where you can watch that. Oh, how about Action News Jack? CBS 47 will have the game for you, 8 o'clock. That one on Saturday. They actually have a half-hour pregame show, pre-match. When you're talking soccer, people get upset if you say game instead of match. You say, we'll go into this on another show, how I hate the labels in the world of soccer, but I digress. Pre-match show will be on at 7:30. So no college football tonight. Programming reminder for Saturday night. Instead, you'll have a pre-match show for the Orlando Pride and Washington Spirit. MLS playoffs pick back up this weekend as well. Any matchup you're excited about on Saturday, by the way? Doubleheaders both days. Saturday at 5:30, you got New York City and New York, the derby.
At Citi Field.
At Citi Field.
Not at New York Red Bull Stadium.
Randomly
Not
enough.
at Yankee Stadium. At Citi Field.
Why isn't that at Red Bull Stadium?
There's got to be something going on there. I assume something's been booked out there, or a problem that we talked about.
So let's put it in another baseball field. Okay, cool. You got that matchup, and you have LAFC and Seattle. So
that's the matchup to keep your eye on this weekend. That's the big boy matchup. Okay. It's really interesting to see. Seattle's been a perennial MLS team since they've joined the league, and the LAFC has had the most points gained since joining the league as an expansion team. So it's been really impressive to see since 2018 their run that they've been on. They've only, I believe, dropped 20 games within the Bank of California Stadium. So that's my circle game. But Orlando-Atlanta is going to be chippy. That's a rivalry game. They've been rivals for a couple of years now. Brad Guzan's been a bald beast between the sticks. And the Galaxy Minnesota will be interesting. You might see an upset there. Minnesota is really quick up front, and the Galaxy are kind of slow at the back. Although I do love some old school FIFA defenders like Yoshida and Martin Caceres. They're slow and they're old. They're in their 30s. So MLS is a fast league.
Take it easy there, man. We don't need to be doing that. You know, don't just say someone's in their 30s. That makes them old and slow.
I've seen Jamal Johnson get up. He can run a good 100-yard dash still.
Okay.
I believe that.
Because I can't.
But yeah, there should be some really interesting matchups. You could have an all-LA semifinal, and you could have
El Trafico. I think they call that one, right? When
yes.
LA plays LA.
It is El Trafico.
Yeah.
And then you could really have one of these Eastern Conference teams that really didn't think that they were going to get this far, make it all the way to the final of the MLS Cup. So really interesting. All those better Eastern Conference teams lost, so it's wide open.
And these are all one-offs, right? This isn't a two-leg tie or a best 2 out of 3.
No more two-legged ties.
It goes to a one match to determine who's moving on. I liked it. I like the best 2 out of 3. I don't know. It's more soccer. More soccer is get better. I don't know. I like more. And even you would think that would favor the better teams, right? You would think the higher seeds would have a better chance to move on, and yet here we are. Sunday, 2 matchups on Sunday as well. Orlando City and Atlanta. That one will be interesting. And then you mentioned the LA Galaxy and Minnesota in the other quarterfinal, if you want to look at it that way. So that's a little bit about the MLS. Let's touch quickly on USL League One. They decided their champion over this past week, and it is Union Omaha getting the win. So Omaha wins the championship in League One. And the reason we really wanted to bring this up is for our guy, Mishak Jerome, who has played on this Omaha team all season long and certainly was a big part of their success, making it to this point in the season and winning the championship. Mishak currently not with the team as he and his wife have been recovering from a bad accident at their home. I'm actually going to retweet right now the GoFundMe for our guy Mishak. So certainly go check that out. Go read more about Mishak and everything he's been through after they had a home explosion. Just a really wild event. And Mishak could not have been one of the nicer guys possible. When you talk about his time here in Jacksonville, his time wearing this jersey amongst others. So shout out to Mishak. We're thinking about you and your family. And look, his teammates, we're thinking about him too. They go out there and win a championship. So that's a really cool story from the lower levels of American soccer.
Mishak Jerome, the most appeared player for the Jacksonville Armada, so really means a lot to us here in the 904, and I know it means a lot to the fans. And we all hope that he's recovering okay, and all our thoughts are for him and his family.
Rapid fire. We got to talk U.S. men's national team. I put all the local stuff on the front end of the show, so we got plenty of time to talk about the Armada as well as, of course, local college soccer. Let's talk about the men's national team. They do what they were supposed to do. Let's just say that. They beat Jamaica. They get the job done, winning 2 matches against Jamaica.
That first match, a 1-0 win away in Kingston. Early goal from Ricardo Pepi, scores his
4th minute, I think, right?
Yes.
It's real early.
Scores his 2nd goal in 2 games, and then goes on to score his 3rd in 3 games. In the next game, at home soil in the United States, the U.S. win it 4-2. It was a lot of positives from that game. A lot more positives than negatives to take away. Like I mentioned last show, I really do believe Pochettino's taking this as a 16, 18th month preseason. So just to see that these players are buying into the system, and you saw it, they were pressing. I think the first half looked fantastic. Obviously, there's some things in there that you don't like. You can't concede when you're 3-0 up at home against a team that maybe you should handle.
Not ideal.
But it was all positive for me, and I'm really excited to see where this Nations League shakes out.
So USA does the job, take care of business, and moving on.
They will play Panama in the semifinals, and on the other side of the bracket, Mexico and Canada.
That's in March, by the way.
No more international breaks to the end of the year.
It's a long time to have to wait.
Yep.
Have to wait until they get back out there for that one against Panama in March. That game will be played, by the way, in Inglewood, California, so out there on the West Coast. All right, let's end the show, as we like to do, with a little bit of a wacky, fun story. And for this one, we go over to the UEFA Nations League. So across the pond, and here you have it. This is Liechtenstein versus San Marino. And look, San Marino has not had the best of it, let's just say. This game, they fell behind Liechtenstein 1-0 and responded with 3 goals. This the third and final
team effort.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It's almost like the Armada Baby Blues they got on there. So San Marino had never won a road match ever. Ever. This was their 101st road match ever. They had 96 defeats.
That one got hammy from the peanut gallery.
96 defeats and 4 draws in 100 matches until now.
That's an impressive stat, Stuart.
And look, they haven't been much better at home, mind you. This is their 3rd win ever. Fun fact, all 3 wins against Liechtenstein. Look, I'm sorry, Liechtenstein, that you're taking the beating here on this show, but they go and they win and they advance to the next level of UEFA Nations League. They advance out of their group and get promoted. It's such a cool story.
Speaking of cool stories, I got a cool one before we get off air.
You got like 30 seconds.
Tommy Krasanovic said that he could get me a goal if he threw me a top in an NPSL game. This is confirmed, and a quote, I would like this to go on public record.
Okay, I still don't believe it. Anyhow, that's all the time we have. That's a great way to end, is without you having to talk about thinking you can score a goal. Thanks so much for watching us here on Fleet and Footy. We'll do it again next Thursday at 2. Have a good one.
Action Sports Jacks Prime Time.
Saturday at 10:30 on Fox 30.